Hey everyone, I wanted to do a quick update on little Miss Ruby. It's been 9 days already since she had her front leg amputated. I think there was some confusion early on. The reason why we got her leg amputated is because of the harsh radiation she had done on her front leg due to a sarcoma tumor had made the bones very, very dense and brittle, so there is no way they would be able to fix her broken bones with screws or anything because it would crumble within probably days of surgery. Also, earlier on this year, they had found a mass of some sort on her bones, so they figured it really did look like bone cancer. So that's when we went back to the VCA there in Fishers to get a second opinion. They did multiple scans, but to be 100% sure, they would have to do a bone biopsy. In order to do the bone biopsy, they would have to sedate her for about 20 minutes to get that biopsy done to determine if it was cancer or not. Because Ruby is such a high risk of any kind of sedation, we decided to pass on that and just let her live out her life, and we would never know if it was cancer. So shortly after that happened, I should say a few months later, that's when I realized Ruby's leg was bowing out more and more. We took her in, and that's when we found out one of her front leg bones were broken. And they said, within days, the other one's going to break. There's no hope. Either you would have to amputate the leg or euthanize her. That was our choice. We went home that night, which was on a Friday. We just didn't want to sit around and wait for her leg to break and then put her to sleep. So we took her back in that next morning, which was on a Saturday. We asked them to please put it in a stent and see if we could try to heal it. Well, we did that for 3 weeks and it just wasn't getting any better. She was starting to get an open sore underneath her cast, and within time it was going to get infected. So we lost all hope, and I knew either we had to amputate or put her down. And I've always been against amputation from the very beginning of her cancer journey, which was back in 2018. But I just couldn't live with myself knowing, did I do the right thing? If I put her to sleep, did she really have cancer? Was there any hope whatsoever? My husband and I talked it over, and I made the hard decision to go ahead, amputate her leg, and let's pray that she heals, wakes up from anesthesia, And we did have the leg sent off to the pathologist to test it for bone cancer, and the doctor also found a growth on her lymph node. So she did remove that and sent that along with her leg. And we thought it was going to be a few weeks before we got the results. Well, guess what? The doctor called me right at closing the other day, and my heart sank. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's calling me. It's the doctor. It's not one of my girls or, the receptionist or something. They must have found something, and I was heartbroken. So I answered the phone. I sat down on the top of the stairs, and she told me, the doctor. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, well, we got the reports on both of Ruby's tests that we had run. And I'm like, okay. I'm holding back tears. This has been such an emotional roller coaster ride, let me tell you. And she told me that they had multiple pathologists look at it just to make sure they were not missing something. And you guys, it's not bone cancer. And the lymph node that they removed, not cancer. There is no cancer in my dog. Ruby is cancer-free, and she told us that we made the best decision. And this just goes to show, go with your gut. Go with your senses. Go just pray to God and wish for the best. And you guys, it happened. It happened. We made the best choice for little Miss Ruby, and she is cancer-free, and I cannot wait to celebrate more time with her.